Shalom, giving all praises to Yahweh Hashem, Yahushua, Hashem, Rakakodah. Shalom to the 144,000 and the rest of the elect out there. Shalom to you all. I'm going to title this video, The Gentiles in the New Testament are Israelites. Back to the basics. So, that's the number one argument that you're going to get, or the number two argument that you're going to get from so-called Christians, which are antichrist, false Christians, not real Christians. To qualify to become a Christian, you must first be an Israelite. And you can't just be an Israelite, you have to be one of the elect of Israel. Ultimately, all Israel will be deemed, labeled Christians because they will all come under the Messiah, whether it's in the kingdom or on this side. So if you're an Edomite, can't be a Christian. Moabite can't be a Christian. If you don't believe in the Messiah, we're going back 2,000 years ago, you can't be a Christian. But once you believe, as an Israelite, once you believe in the Messiah, then you're called a Christian. So anyway, part of the title is the New Testament, right? But I'm going to start from the Old Testament. Isaiah 11 and 10, Isaiah 42 and 1, Isaiah 42 and 6. So you see a lot of Isaiah, and all these Isaiah 11, Isaiah 42, Isaiah 42 and 6, Isaiah 49 and 6, Isaiah 49 and 22. You'll see the word Gentile. Now, if you go to maybe like Genesis, the very first precept, let me do this here. Back to the basics, back to the basics, back to the basics. If you go to the very first time the word Gentiles is recorded on the scriptures, is Genesis 10 verse 5, which scholars call the Table of Nations. By these, the isles of the Gentiles divided in their lands. And you know what I'm gonna do? Let me open this up. Genesis 5. Descendants of Noah. Now these are the generations of the sons of Noach, which means comfort. Shem or Shum, which means name or put. Ham or Chum, which means hot. And Japheth, Yapath, which means enlarged, not beautiful. The seven used to teach that Japheth means beautiful. The word, there's more than one word for beautiful, depending on the context of the particular precept of scripture. But the word here, Japheth or Yapath, as opposed to Yapah, is enlarged, because the sons of Yapath was pushed out. You know, the center point is the Levant. They were pushed out of the Levant. They were pushed to the north, parts of Europe, eventually went out to certain islands. And unto them were sons born after the flood, the sons of Yapath, Gomer, Magog. Right, Magog means from Gog. These are dark people. They look like Polynesians, Hawaiians, Samoans. Because when how do we know that? Because when the Europeans established Rome, Rome was already established by the sons of Japheth. which at that time they were called the Picts. The what was the other word? It was just in my mind. The Minoans, the Etruscans. You know what I'm gonna do? Let me do that. Let me do this. Let me do this. I don't know where I'm going with this, but were the Etruscans the original Romans? Let it come on up. Okay, no, the Etruscans were not the original Romans. They were a distinct civilization that preceded and heavily influenced the Romans. Right, influenced the Romans. So even though they were not called Romans, but the Roman, let's say, culture, the togas, the rosemary wreath, who originated from the Latin people, while the Etruscans ruled Rome during the early monarchical period. So that's what I wanted. That's what I wanted. They were eventually conquered and absorbed by the rising Roman Republic. They were conquered, leading to the decline of Etruscan culture and the dominance of Latin culture and language. Beautiful, beautiful. And they did that to all those European countries. Let me see something. The Minoans and Rome. You can see that they're dark. I may open this up. There were no Minoans in Rome because the Minoan civilization flourished on a creek and in Aegean Sea during the Bronze Age, long before the city of Rome existed in any significant form. Well, these are Crete, these are Aegean Sea. This is up in Europe, north of Palestine, and at a time when the area of Rome was inhabited by early Latin people, while the Minoans were a powerful naval and trading society that influenced the wider Mediterranean. Their direct presence in the regions that would become Rome has not been established. So let me go to images. These are the original Europeans, by the way. Well, why are they white? Because when they did their art, and if they wanted to say that these are women, they would paint it white, and the men would be dark. Right, here's the original, more of an original. The Minoan dancer ruled the ritual. They whititized them. Let me do this. Okay, these would be represented as men, and these are women. That's how you distinguish between the men and the woman. Bear with me for a minute. Okay. Let me bring this one up. These are the men. These are the sons of Japhet. And these are the women. In art, they painted them as being white. That's a man right there. Let's go. This is Minoan. See how they have the long. These are men. So there's no direct link between the Minoans, the Etruscans, and the. They say that Tuscany comes from the Etruscans. The word. See, there it goes. These are the men. You can see by the color, and these are the women. Didn't mean that they just dealt with white women, no. So anyway, so the Edomites went north to Europe and pretty much took over Europe and took some of their culture too. Look at this. Let me open this up. History of Minoan civilization on Crete. Now that's Roman architecture right there. The pillars. This is Minoan palace. So Esau then said, okay, let's build our buildings like they do. History of Rome, Minoans. Look at that. The pillars is from the Minoans. The captivating guide to an essential Bronze Age society in ancient Greece called the Minoan civilization, hardcover. So Esau said, let's build like this, like these Minoan people, which are the sons of Japhet. There you go. The chariots. The stream of time. The Minoans. Their polity. Now you see how they dress similar to the Roman soldiers. And you can see that this is art. This is not an actual wall release or whatever. But they're showing them that they look dark. Almost look like Gadites, but they're not Gadites. Ancient Romans, which were so-called people of color. Let's come on back. It says, by these were the islands of the Gentiles divided in their lands, everyone after his tongue, after their families and their nations. Then you got Cush and Mizraim, Put and Canaan, which are Ham. So let's come on back. So the word Gentile or Gentiles in Genesis 10 verse 5, these are the nations. Particular nation were the sons of Japheth. And we come down here. We're going to read some from the Old Testament and some from the New, right? Isaiah 11:10. And in that day there shall be a root of Jesse. Root, when you look up the word root, it's the lineage, it's your gene, which shall stand for an insight of the people to it shall the Gentiles seek, and his rest shall be glorious. I should, no, I'm not going to do that. What is this talking about? Matter of fact, you know what I'm going to do? I know what it's talking about, but I'm just asking y'all. So that you Christians can understand the meaning, the true meaning of the word Gentile. Meaning, come back over here. I may go into AI mode. Isaiah 11:10 describes the future messianic kingdom, a descendant of Jesse, King David's father, as a root or banner for the nation. People from all over the world will be drawn to the glorious king, which are the people that it's going to be drawn are the Israelites first, then the nations. Isaiah 2 verse 2, Micah 4 verse 2. Seeking him and finding their resting place. No, the resting place is coming to the Gentiles that are Israelites. So Isaiah 11 and 10 are referring to Israelites. Under his righteous reign, which is the law, the prophecy points to the Messiah, a figure who will unite and bring peace to all people, all Israelites, not just the people. That's why they had to put that in there, not just the people of Israel. That's bullshit. The people of Israel, and whose presence brings a glorious, peaceful kingdom. It's not going to be peaceful if you're another nation. Isaiah 61 verse 5 says they're going to be plowing in the field. And we're going to, and in their, what does it say? And in their glory, what they have, which we're going to take everything from them. We shall boast ourselves. So in the kingdom of heaven, there's going to be a certain nation of people that's going to be on top, and there's going to be other nations that's going to be on the bottom. So the root of Jesse, you got Jesse. Jesse's father was Obed, and Obed's father was Boaz. And Jesse's son that became king was David. David's son was Solomon. Out of that line came, on both sides of his family, Joseph's side and Mary's side. Joseph had sex with Mary. So those Gentiles in Isaiah 11 and 10 are Israelites. Leave that there. Back to the basics, back to the basics, back to the basics. Isaiah 42 verse 1, behold my servant whom I uphold, mine elect, my servant, singular, whom I uphold, and mine elect, in whom my soul delighteth. I'm happy of this individual. We're going to find out who the individual is. I have put my spirit upon him, singular. He shall bring forth judgment to the Gentiles. Who do you think that's talking about? Isaiah 42 verse 1 introduces the Most High's chosen servant, described as one of whom the Most High upholds. The God, G-O-D, is Yahweh, delights in and empowers with his spirit to bring justice to the nations Christian tradition interprets this servant as Jesus Christ, which is they're correct. God's son, or first son, who fulfills the prophecy by demonstrating a gentle and faithful nature, while establishing the Most High's laws and bringing freedom to the oppressed. Who's the oppressed? Not the Romans. The Lord said in Luke 4, He come to loosen you from them prisons, which was the Roman rulership. So right here, behold my servant, this is the Messiah, mine elect, in whom my soul delighteth, whom I am well pleased. I put my spirit upon him. He shall bring forth judgment to the nations. Let's look up the word judgment. Back to the basics, back to the basics, back to the basics. The word is mashapat, which is judgment. All if it's talking about Israel, he punished us. He put laws under us, and he's gonna put that judgment on you other nations. But ultimately, he's gonna deliver that judgment that's put upon us. That's somebody judging you. You go to the court of law, you judge whether you're guilty or not guilty. We were found guilty, so we were punished. Now it goes to the other nations. Number one on the list is Esau. There's a trial. We are the representative. We are the lawyers for the Most High. And when we go out there and speak and we do them videos, we're bringing out articles of, exhibits as to what you did against us. And then comes when you're found guilty, everything that we bring out. You putting us in captivity, you telling us that we're not the Israelites. You in your school system said it's all right to eat pork. You don't got to keep the Sabbath day. Everything that you can be a man could be a woman could be a man. So these are all articles or exhibits, which is evidence against you. So the evidence is being stacked against you. So, there's going to be a point where the Most High said, okay, I found them guilty. What is the sentence? Destruction by fire. Missiles being shot on America. They're going to use Gog to do it. The Russians, which the word Russia is a Hebrew word, Ra'ashah, which means, and that came from myself, the Spirit got on me to come across it. When you go to, let's say the Bible Hub, some of those sites, whether it be the what's the one, Matthew Henry's or the Cambridge or the Ellicott, most of them will tell you that when you go into Gog and Magog, they'll tell you that they were called the Rush people. But what they should have put in was Ra'ash Shah. They'll say the name, the ancient name for Russians or Gog, but they became the Rush. They're also identified with the Rush. But like I said, the word should be Rasha, which is Hebrew. The original Russians, which were Israelites, spoke Hebrew. So they were known as the head princes or the chief priests the chief prince, Russia. Russia is a Hebrew name. I did a video. I was asking, looking for answers. The roots of the Russian language goes back. Does the roots of the Russian language go back to Hebrew? And it does. If you do the research, I did a video on that maybe 5-6 years ago. So anyway, so a lot of these Russians, like Chechnya and these different regions where Russia is, a lot of them are Israelites, man. That's why you got Russians, man, that could beat Jake's ass, because they Jake. Hey, Jake, man. Okay. Let's come on back. This is why we don't argue with these Christians. Don't know anything. They don't know what the hell. They don't know what's up. They don't know what's up. Okay, so behold my servant whom I uphold. Who's speaking here? Yahweh. 6th verse, same chapter. I, Yahweh. So we know the first verse and the 6th verse is talking about the same Lord, Yahweh, which he set up somebody under him, which he calls him his son. I, Yahweh. So did Yahweh, the Father, deal with anybody in the Old Testament? Deal with man in the Old Testament? You got that right, he did. He dealt with Abraham, he dealt with Isaac, he dealt with Jacob, he dealt with Moses. He told Moses what his name is. He said, this is my name forever. So Bishop Nate says, oh no, it was the son that dealt with he's confusing the people. He's doing the same thing that Tazadakia did, the ICGJZ. What the Most High ultimately do to him? He put him to death on April Fool's Day, 2020. Look it up. And he was in his 40s, I believe, early 40s, young man. And the reports were he suffered the C. ragamuffin, and he said maybe a week before that, oh, the C. ragamuffin, don't worry about it because it's not going to affect us. And that's exactly who it affected. Because the C. ragamuffin is real. You know, that's why you had to change your diet. You had to be careful. But we know the backstory to that. Created in the lab in China, and Wuhan, China, whatever. Which Trump called the Chinese virus. This guy, Trump, he's gonna lead the world at World War III. You know what this man's doing? He's isolating us from the world. Let me do this. Let me see what. Let's look that up. Donald Trump is isolating us from the world. Accusations of the former president Donald Trump's policies isolate the United States from the world, have been made by critics, particularly concerning his second term, which is now. He got off running. Everybody's like, they say, no, we ain't dealing with these motherfuckers because of this guy. Let me read that again. Accusations that former President Donald Trump's policies isolate the United States from the world have been made by critics, particularly concerning his second term, which began in January 2025. Conversely, some analysts argue that his approach is not isolationist, but a transitional reordering of global relations, meaning he's doing his own thing and people don't like it. So it can backfire on him. The world can say, we're not going to deal with you. He called the other day, yesterday I believe it was, or Saturday, he said if Russia flew a drone over Poland, right, which is a NATO nation, and blew up. Was it Poland or was it a Polish government building in the Ukraine? So it enacted Article 4 of the. They have a compact with the NATO alliance. So Article 4 is talking about if another nation attacks another NATO nation, you got to sit down and have a meeting about it. 5 is, we got to go to war with them. Arguments supporting claims of isolation. Reaction, let me open this up. Let me do this. Trump is undermining American society, press release. Let me see. Is Donald Trump doing the world a favor by isolating? Wow, because now they're saying he's isolating everything. He's isolating America from the world. They're going to be standing alone. The conversation, okay, is Donald Trump doing the world a favor by isolating the United States? That's why you got the BRICS alliance, which came about before. What did it come out? It came about the first. I believe it. I can go into the history. Somebody put it up, so I don't got to go to it. United States President Donald Trump, Trump's tariffs against most of the world, and it affects the American people, the U.S. citizens. Tank stock market, disrupted the U.S. bond market, and destabilized the global economy. At one time, the economy was stable. Now it's destabilized. Trump has economically and politically threatened American allies, friends, shattering the unity of the Western world. But Trump's chaos may have inadvertently produced an opportunity to create a better world. Nope, it's not going to happen. Losing dominance. So you go into the word, what's that word? Not dominance, but goddamn. Hegemony. Somebody put that in there in the chat. Hegemony. But the bully on the block concept. Losing dominance, losing their hegemonic status. The West could be in the midst of losing its dominant position in the global order. That's why you got your BRICS. That's why you got these other alliances. Venezuela, I don't know their system, but if they fully connect, they make a call, the president, Maduro, makes a call to Putin, and they say, we want to get together. We need help. That's it, man. This is probably, and that's what's going to happen. Russia will lead the way as far as shooting missiles, ICBMs on America, and then that's going to lead to other nations shooting missiles. Every nation that possesses ICBM missiles that can reach the U.S. will shoot missiles on this place. That includes whatever NATO or EU nations possess intercontinental ballistic missiles. I know France and Great Britain or the UK possess intercontinental ballistic missiles. So when we read those scriptures about the missiles, we said that's talking about the missiles. Job 20 is talking about the missiles. Revelation 9 and 16, I believe, 16, 17, 200,000, which is 200 million, those are warheads. This is probably inevitable, right? Losing dominance, question mark. This is probably inevitable. This is going to happen. If you don't know what the word inevitable means, it's going to happen. But it may not be the tragedy some Western commentators assume it to be. They don't know that they're going to be destroyed by thermonuclear destruction. Canada hates America because of Trump. In most of the world, there is a desire for a more equitable world order that doesn't feature the moral, racial, and cultural double standards. Oh, the moral, racial, and cultural double standards of the Western dominant system, because they know that they don't like niggas. A world where American and Western powers is limited and contained could not only end up being more powerful, but over time more prosperous. Not, yes, eventually, but it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Oh, this is a good article. Without the cooperation of the Allies, alienated by Trump, it may be harder for the U.S. to initiate conflict around the world, as it often has since the end of the Cold War. The Cold War between Russia and the U.S. China and the U.S. is now in the Cold War, and Russia too. Putin, Levinsky, what's his name? Zelensky. Zelensky and Trump had a meeting that they're going to work it out. Peace, going to have peace talks. As soon as the meeting was over, Putin attacked Ukraine. So he said he don't give a damn about Trump. And Putin has receipts on this guy. Getting mean and nasty. In a recent Foreign Affairs article, American political scientist Stacy Goldard, sound like a small hat, argues the emerging multipolar post-American world will be one and with great powers, primarily the U.S., Russia, and China, will divide the globe into spheres of influence. Right, you had two major powers. You had U.S. and Russia. Now you got China, and China is allied with China's allied with Russia. Those are the two major nations of that alliance, the BRICS nations. The U.S. is seeking to maintain disproportionate power in Asia. Closer to home, neighbors of the U.S. have reason to fear Americans' expansionism. That's what he's trying to do, but it's going to backfire. It's going to cause the Armageddon. This is a good article right here. It says a lot. So now let's come back into the main subject. So this is talking about, behold my servant. This is Yahweh talking. Then it says right here, Yahweh. It said, I, Yahweh, have called thee in righteousness, and will hold thine hand. Hold whose hands? Yahweh Shai's hands, which he mentioned in the very first verse of Isaiah 42. And will keep thee and give thee for a covenant of the people. Covenant. Did not Yahweh give Israel a covenant in the wilderness? Well, he's going to give them another covenant. And that's also going to go to Israel. For a light to the Gentiles. And give thee for a covenant, ultimately a new covenant, a second covenant of the people. What people are going to receive this covenant? The Israelites. And ultimately, it's going to be for a light of the Gentiles. The Gentiles are Israelites. Bigger picture is we're going to teach the Gentiles the nations. They're going to have to come up under the nations. We're going to use that iron rod on them. So these Gentiles, light of the Gentiles, are the Israelites. They have been lost sheep. Lost sheep. Give me a second here. Back to the basics. Lost sheep. Let's see what comes up. See how many times this phrase comes up. Okay, beautiful. Psalms 119, 176. I have gone astray like a lost sheep. Seek thy servant, for I do not forget thy commandments. Jeremiah 50 and 6, and we've been trying to go to that for the last couple of weeks. Very important prophetic scripture, Jeremiah book. My people hath been lost, and we read that over the weekend. and I immediately mentioned Matthew's 10. I don't know if he actually went there. It said, my people have been lost sheep, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. The mother nation, don't go to them. But why later did he say go to the Gentiles? Because those Gentiles are lost. Another name for them are the lost sheep. My people have been lost sheep. Their shepherds have caused them to go astray. These false teachers, these ministers, all these jakes in Islam, these Islamic imams and Farrakhan and the Moorish teachings and the black conscious community being with the Kemetic people and just make it in America, and mainly Christians. All these Christian pastors, they're the ones that took the role as a shepherd, but they're leading the sheep astray. Caused them to go astray. They have turned them away on the mountains. That represents the governments. They have gone from mountain to hill. They have forgotten their resting place. Because you got certain jakes telling them, oh, Allah, Mecca is the place. You got to do your what do you call that? What the hell do you call that? Jihad. Jihad, I believe it's called, to Mecca. Or you got to be a Christian. So the lost sheep are the Israelites. How do we know that? Matthew 10, verse 6. But fifth verse says, don't go among the Gentiles. Don't go among the Samaritans. But go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel, and as ye go, preach, saying the kingdom of heaven is at hand. We know that by heart. Matthew 15, verse 24. But he answered and said, I am not sent but the lost sheep of the house of Israel. There it goes again. So who are the lost sheep in Jeremiah 50 and 6? The Israelites. Starting with the elect. Let me open this up. I want to go to the very first. I'm sorry, that's a real how. Asaph, blessed are the undefiled in the way who walk in the law of Yahweh. So this is It doesn't say who. It doesn't say. Alaf is Alap, which means cattle. The first character of the ancient Paleo Hebrew meditations and prayers relating to the law of the Most High. Right, this is the law of Psalms. This is the law of Psalms. So I was hoping it would say David. Does it mention David at all? Let me see. Nope. Okay, so let's come on back. So the lost sheep of the house of Israel. By the way, the woman that was a Greek, a Syrophoenician by nation, was an Israelite in a Gentile state of mind. The woman at the well in Samaria was a heathen. And when you put emphasis on that St. John chapter 4, the Lord wasn't talking to her nice. He was talking to her hard. He said, look, you don't know what the hell you worshiping, man. The hour is going to come where the true worshipers, meaning you're not one of the true worshipers. You were one of the people that were put in Samaria to replace the Israelites when they sent lions on them. And you kept the laws so them lions won't eat your ass out. Then you started saying, no, we are the Israelites. No, you're not the Israelites. Although you had Israelites living in Samaria. But she wasn't an Israelite. She wasn't an Israelite. Let's come on back. Back to the basics, back to the basics, back to the basics. So I wouldn't even argue about the Gentile argument. We read a couple more, then we'll go to the New Testament. Isaiah 54, verse 3. For thou shalt break forth on the right hand. That's the kingdom. And thy seed shall inherit the Gentiles. Now that right there is talking about the other nations. We're gonna take them and make the desolate cities to be inhabited. Isaiah 60, verse 3. And the Gentiles shall come to thy light, and kings to the brightness of thy rising. That's first and foremost talking about the Israelites and then the other nations. They're going to come to us, come and let us follow them so they can teach us of his ways. That's Isaiah 2, verse 2. You can also go to Micah 4, verse 2. Isaiah 60, verse 5. Then thou shalt see and flow together, and thine heart shall fear and be enlarged, because the abundance of the sea, the riches, shall be converted unto you, the Israelites. Where are we gonna get all these riches from? We're gonna take what they got. We're gonna confiscate what they got. The forces of the Gentiles shall come unto thee. The Gentiles right here, and the 5th verse of Isaiah 60 are Israelites. We're gonna take what this is what it means. We're gonna take what they got. Real talk. Let me do this. Let me do this. And when you're talking to these Christians and they want to make a point, you don't let them make their point. If they don't like it, they can walk down the street. Like I said, we don't need them. We don't need to roll up on no Christians. Christians need us. Nobody's following Christianity anyway. That form of Christianity. NLT, Isaiah 60, verse 5. Your eyes shall shine. Whose eyes shall shine? Israel's eyes. And your heart, your mind will thrill. You be thrilled with joy. Your eyes are gonna be old. You know when you were a kid, when you're stupid ass, your parents they didn't know they're Israelites. Christmas, remember Christmas, and you see all them fucking toys, and you be like, oh, your eyes open up, and you happy, and you can't wait to open it. Well, that's how it's gonna be in the kingdom. Christmas in the kingdom. For merchants, we're going to look up the word merchants. Now, the word merchant goes back to the word that in Wall Street, they use the word mercantile. That goes to the word merchants, although you cannot find it if you go to the etymology. But the word merchant goes back to the word mercantile goes back to merchants, buying and selling. But we're going to look it up. Merchants from around the world will come to you. They will bring you the wealth of many lands. Whatever resources, we're going to get it, right? So, when you go to any store, like let's say you go to a BJ's or whatever, you buy a flat screen, you buy this, you buy a computer, chairs, furniture, all this stuff, even certain foods. They come from the other side. They come from like mostly China, right? China is the Far East. It said Moab and Ammon will eventually, and that's in Ezekiel 25, that Moab and Ammon will come to the Far East. The Far East is Korea, Japan, China. Most of the stuff that you get come from China. So the same thing going to happen, you're going to have the merchant ships in the kingdom. And all that stuff is coming for us. Right? Read that again. Your eyes will shine, and your heart will thrill with joy, for merchants from around the world, the other nations, will come to you. They will bring you the wealth or their wealth of many lands. The resources of the lands will come to us. Let's look up the word merchants. At one time, years ago, I think I looked up the word mercantile, and it said it goes back to the word merchants. And this Google Etymon online. They don't give you the root of the word. I'm gonna look up the word merchant, and I may look up the word abundance. Okay, so abundance. The word in the NLT is merchant. Right? Let's look up the word abundance. The word here is Hama. Hama one. Hama one. Okay, the word is abundance, wealth, multitude, company, store, abundance. Abundance of the sea, the merchants. Yum, the word yum is waters. Yum means, plural. Yum is another way of saying the sea in Hebrew. Will be turned to you, the Israelites, in the kingdom, the wealth of the nations. So it's not our wealth, it's the nation's wealth that we're going to take. Because we're going to be lords over them. When you take over a nation, you take what they got. How did America become great? It took the land from Gad, Reuben, Central and South America. They took the natives of that land. Then to build it up, they said, let's go to West Africa. Let's do what's called the triangle trade, this triangle trade that left from places like Portugal, England, from Europe, from the West. The first stop, they had what do you call it? Commodities that went into Africa, traded these commodities with actual slaves, which are Israelites. Went to the Americas, sold the slaves to the Americans, got more commodities, and went back to England. So that was a trade route, which is a triangular trade route from Europe to Africa to America back to Europe. And that's how they became great. So now they got to pay for that. You didn't just take any nation and put them into captivity. You took the sons and daughters of the Most High himself. You took the righteous people, the royal people, and did that. So what do you think is going to happen to you? You are going to get royally fucked up. You got these two knuckleheads from Genesis talking about, I believe they quote Isaiah 45 and 11, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, we're going to have to start being nice to the... No, you can be nice to the nations. We ain't going to be nice to the nation. We're going to take this shit and we're going to work them. Especially Esau. Then we're going to burn them up. So we ain't going to be nice to the Edomites. We ain't going to be nice to their pregnant women, their toddlers, none of them old motherfuckers. We ain't going to be nice to them, man. Then ultimately we're going to burn them. Right, your strength. A rich man has strength because he can afford to build a fortress, or he can afford to have security, right? Wealth, force, army. That's why big nations take over other nations. So let's come on back. This is beautiful. Forces of the Gentiles. These are talking about actual Gentiles. 11th verse, Isaiah 60. Therefore thy gate shall be open continually. They shall not be shut day nor night. That now the gates are talking about the forces coming in, but they're going to be shut on the Sabbath. But gates will be open for the Sabbath as well, not for merchants, but for the people to come in into the inner court, right? To worship. Men may bring into the forces of the Gentiles, the other nations, and that their kings may be brought. They're going to come before us and bow down to us. And that's what it means by blessing when it says, and through thy seed, Abraham, all the nations of the earth, all the families of the earth shall be blessed. The families of the earth that will be blessed are the Israelites. Because the word bless, when you look up the word bless, it means for somebody to bow down to you. We're not going to be in the kingdom bowing down. I see an Edomite, let me bow down to him. You're going to bow down? No, we're not going to be Japanese and Chinese bowing down to each other. The one that bows is a servant. The one that stands up and receives the bow are the lords. This is why we don't tolerate Christians. 16 verse, Isaiah 60 verse 16. Thou shalt also suck the milk of the Gentiles. That's not literal. We're going to take their resources. And shall suck the breast of kings. And thou shalt know that I am Yahweh. And then you're going to know, yep. All you jakes and see, you got this group of black Hebrew Israelites is saying that the white man's Esau, and I'm saying they're not. They're Israelites too in the spirit. So these brickhead Negroes in the kingdom, they're gonna have their head down. But then they're gonna say, you gotta forget it. There's a term, and the term is Stockholm syndrome. Somebody put that in the chat, please. Put up. Go to the definition for Stockholm syndrome, and put it in the chat, because Jake is suffering from. The majority of Jake is suffering from Stockholm syndrome. Stockholm syndrome. If the white man can't be in the kingdom, I don't want to be in the kingdom. Well, guess what? You ain't gonna be in the kingdom. You're gonna be taken out. You're gonna have to start all over again. This is why we don't tolerate. Hey, this guy, God Logic, heard about the death of Charlie Kirk, and he's crying. I guess his woman, that's how everything gonna be. I can't believe it. Deal with these clown ass Christians. Like I said, arguing with a Christian is like playing basketball with a caveman. Okay, so let's go. Let's go. But ye shall be named the priests of Yahweh. Men shall call you the ministers of our power. Ye shall eat the riches of the Gentiles, and in their glory, their riches, shall ye boast yourself. We're going to take their gold and we're going to put it on us. Oh, yeah, this is nice gold. This is nice rubies and so forth. This is nice silk. Oh, I'll take that. You know, whatever they have that, I like that. Oh, thank you very much, sir, Israelite, master Israelite. Guess what? I'm taking that. Okay, sir. Whatever you like. Whatever you like. So, you know what I'm going to do? So this is clearly talking about the priests are Israelites, starting with the men of Yahweh. Men shall call you the ministers of Yahweh. Ye shall eat the riches of the Gentiles, and in the Gentiles' riches, you're gonna boast this. You're gonna wear it. There's a scripture, I can't think of the whole. If I can think of the whole scripture, I can find it. It said we're gonna put it on. We're gonna put it on. I hadn't gone through that in 30 years. 30 years. Anyway, let's start over here. By the way, Yahushai, when you go to the first verse of this chapter, you go to Luke, the 4th chapter, I believe it starts at the 19th verse. Yahushai opens up the scroll, the place where he went to, which is codified as Isaiah 61 and 1. He read down to the 4th verse, and he said this, it was talking about the Messiah. He said, this prophecy has been fulfilled. When he said that, he closed the book, closed the book, inside joke, rolled the scroll together, and they said, this nigga think he Messiah, throw this nigga off a mountain. So if he said that came to pass, when did Isaiah 61 verse 5 and 6 come to pass? When did Isaiah 60, the whole chapter, come to pass? It's yet to come to pass. This part, let me do this. Right, 4th verse. And they shall build the old waste. They shall rise up the former desolations, and they shall repair the waste cities. Yeah, because the missiles are going to destroy Babylon the Great. It's never going to be built back up again. It's going to be a memorial forever. The Levant is going to be destroyed, but it's going to be built back up for us. And the rest of the world is going to be shooken up. All those European-style buildings, those skyscrapers, whatever, around the world, Japan, all that shit going to be knocked down. Every wall shall fall. That's in the scriptures as well. The Great Wall, ain't going to be no Great Wall of China in our kingdom. Ain't going to be no raggedy wall in China talking about the Great Wall of China. All that shit going to be knocked down, man. And then we're going to have billions of nations. There's going to be a lot of construction work. There's going to be a lot of construction work because you're going to have to build back the whole planet. Because remember, these missiles are going to cause the whole earth. You ever hear of an earthquake that shook the whole planet? What was it, 2 years ago, was it? I was doing a video, and there was a work. I even said on it, I said, what the hell is this all about? I felt the room shake. And I thought it was like a big, I didn't know what the hell it was, man. Then I realized, I put it on the news, and it said it was an earthquake centered in New Jersey, and it hit parts of New York. And I actually felt the earthquake. I got a little nervous. So it says, and they shall build the old waste. Who shall build the old waste? Your slaves. The part that came to pass is really the first 2 verses. This is getting ready to come to pass. Zion to give unto them beauty for ashes, and the oil of joy, happiness for mourning. We're mourning now, we're depressed. The garment of praise, for the spirit of heaviness. We're under heaviness. Hey, you come into money. You did some overtime. Somebody send you some money. You hit the lotto or whatever. You happy for a little bit, but you really ain't happy because you in hell. I know I'm going long. So, the first two verses came to pass. Really the first verse. So if the Lord said today this prophecy has come to pass, these are getting ready to come to pass. Third verse, to appoint unto them that mourn in Zion, to give unto them beauty for ashes, future tense, the oil of joy for mourning, instead of mourning, the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness. Instead of the spirit of heaviness, you're going to get the garment of praise, that they might be called trees of righteousness. Who's going to be called trees of righteousness? All Israelites. The planting of Yahweh. Wait a minute. Nate said the father never dealt with anybody in the Old Testament. It was always the son. Well, wait a minute. Capital Lord is Yahweh. If I click on it, it would be Yahweh. That he might be glorified. And they shall build the old waste. They shall rise up the former desolations, because the whole earth is going to be shooken up. Going to be a lot of dead people around the world, but there's going to be living. You're going to have Israelites scattered throughout the whole planet, right? World in the oikoumene sense. We're going to have spiritual power, just like the angels. We're going to look into your spirit. Oh, he's from the tribe of Judah. He's from the tribe of Levi. He's from the tribe of Gad. You're gonna find Gad living in Spain. You're going to find Ephraim living in Africa. And the whole planet Earth is going to be built according to the standards that the Most High give to us to give to them. There are no fucking skyscrapers with elevators in that shit. A coffee shop on the ground floor. And they shall repair the waste cities. Because the cities are going to be wasted. A lot of people are going to be dead. We're going to hire out people, Ezekiel 39, to bury the dead, so it doesn't contaminate the earth. You got to bury the dead so they can become fertilizer to make the plants grow. The desolation of many generations. You have many generations, the missile's going to shake the whole world and going to destroy everything. In other words, it's not going to be like America. You're going to have the survivors, billions of people that survive this, but we're going to separate them. Okay, you're going to have Edomites that look like Jake, or Moabites. Okay, you're a Moabite, you go over here. We're going to categorize everything through spiritual power, through the spiritual eyes, because we're going to be like angels. So how in the hell is Gog and Magog? First of all, there's no such thing as Gog and Magog. Even though that's in Revelation, it shouldn't be Gog and Magog. It should be Gog from Gog. They're going to be hiding in the Caucasus Mountains, you know where the Scythians are. That's what Nate said. And that's when give me Isaiah 24. They going to be hiding in them pits and they going to jump. No, we're going to have spiritual power, dumbass. How the fuck somebody going to give me? Esau can't roll up on me now. I'm not like that Ukrainian girl going to get on the fucking train and open, bitch, you don't know who's crazy in that damn train. We believe that shit is AI any goddamn way. Because you supposedly died as a nurse, and a lot of this stuff is psyop shit. Or they got a new thing where you got Charlie Kirk, he got shot in the blood. I said that shit didn't even look like real fucking blood. That looked like a fucking AI. Or what do you call it? CGI. That movie looked fake as hell. We don't know if this guy's living, they did plastic surgery, he's living in Europe some goddamn where. We don't know that. But you people, you stupid people, you believe everything you said, like Nixon said. If you say it on TV, people will believe it. If you show it on TV, oh, he killed so-and-so. Fuck out of here. Bunch of dummies. Hey, it's true what Isaiah 25:7 says. Basically, the wool is pulled over your eyes. The wool ain't pulled over our eyes. We don't trust nothing. We don't trust nothing. 4. And they shall build the waste. Who shall build the waste cities? We ain't gonna roll up our sleeves. Them other nations gonna roll. They're gonna build the old waste nations. Yeah, but wait a minute. During the time of Zerubbabel and Joshua, they were built. Yeah, that was back then. We ain't lifting up a hammer. We ain't picking up a nail. We ain't doing a damn thing. All we're gonna do is tell people what to do. And they ain't gonna get paid either. We're gonna feed them and put them to sleep in a slave quarter, and then they got to get up and work again. Then they'll get Sabbath off, high holy days off, because we don't work them on those days. They shall rise up the former desolations, and they shall repair the waste cities, the desolation of many generations. And strangers shall stand and feed your flocks. That's working on the plantation. And the sons of aliens, other nations, shall be your plowmen and your vine dressers. They're gonna be out. They're gonna be planting and picking cotton, all that, man. But ye shall be named the priests of Yahweh. Men shall call you the ministers of the Most High, because we're gonna teach them the laws. Ye shall eat the riches of the other nations. And in their glory, in their substances, in their resources, in their glory shall ye boast yourselves. You're going to boast. Let me look up the word boast. Oh, that's a nice garment. Where I took this from an Elamite. So are the Gentiles going to be in the kingdom? Yes, but they're going to be slaves in the kingdom. Look up the word boast. Boast yourselves. The word there is yamar. Right, to be changed into, to promise, because we're waiting for a promise. Exchange. Boast. Let me look at that in the NLT. Isaiah 61:6. Israel will be called priests of Yahweh, ministers of our power, O God. You will feed on the treasures. Ooh-wee. You will feed on the treasures of the nations and boast in their riches. Oh, I like that. Now it's mine. Oh, you like it, sir. You like it, sir. We took 20 years to put that together with gold. We made this thing. It's for my family. No, it's not. It's for us. To pack the shit up, I'm taking it. And I'm taking you too. You're going to work on my plantation. Remember how proud Esau was when he had them slaves? Boy, he was proud as hell, man. Had them the big house, had the big house. And you had the best cooks with Jake. Hey, let me do this. Let me go ahead and do this. Right here. Just bear me for a minute. Okay, I don't need this. This is on. Let me Bear me for a minute. Come on now.
Shalom, giving all praise to Yahweh Hashem, Yahshua Hashem, Rakakodah, Shalom to the 144,000.
Bear me for a minute.
The rest of the elect out there, Shalom to you all.
All right, good. 800 should
And I'm
be
going
more,
to
but
entitle this video,
2,000
for your health.
200, almost 200 thumbs up, almost 800 views. So people, now watch how many motherfuckers gonna start making their own. At the elixir of life. Yeah, you can do coconut water. Anyway, I'll get back into the main subject. A lot of somebody said you should look into kettlebell. Kettlebells are good, but it can fuck your body up too. They can take away muscle. You can't go crazy on a kettlebell. It's weights. If you got kettlebells, you can use it. I use a 35-pound kettlebell. Great for core, squats, everything. It would really help. Shalom. You don't need it, but if you have it, you can use it. You can use it. Right? So, modern lonely women admit they have no options. Yeah, because men are tired of your bullshit. All men want is what's in between. They go through the bullshit because they want what's in between your leg. But you're making it too hard, so they're like, let's become passport bros. I'm sorry, y'all. Let me go over here. Okay, what did I say I was gonna do? Bear me for a minute. Oh, I'm sorry. What's her name? Again, what's her Hemmings? Hemmings' brother was a cook. What's her name? Sally Hemmings? Give me a second here. Sally Hemmings. Okay, this is the woman a real good-looking woman. This devil, Thomas Jefferson, was popping on a regular, and she couldn't do nothing about it. And he fell in love with her. Hey, we're going to get concubines of the other nations too. Now, this is what I want to get into. But a very beautiful woman. That's why he wanted it. And them slave masters was popping our fucking woman. You think we're not going to pop their woman? Sally Hemings' brother okay, mac and cheese, but he was a chef. Now the real mac and cheese, her brother came up with that. Esau had that old Kraft macaroni and cheese is one color, it's not toasted on the top. Jake came up with that. Sally Hemings' brother, James Hemings, is credited with helping to popularize mac and cheese, and black macaroni and cheese. The real, and I can make, brother. I can make that. I can make it. I can make it. Hey, I make it so good. You try to break into my house to steal it. It says, let me see, American, in America, after being trained in French cuisine under Thomas Jefferson while in France, like he brought it to the next level, the baked macaroni and cheese. Hemings learned to make mac and cheese and brought his culinary knowledge back to the United States, incorporating it into state dinners and helping to make the dish a staple. That's why them founding fathers had the the estrogen gut, because they was eating a lot of carbs, loading up on carbs. Let me see, he only did mac and cheese, but he made other things, right? How did Hemingway invent mac and cheese? Let me look at this. Hemmings likely learned to make macaroni and cheese during his training in France and helped popularize the dish in America. After negotiating with Jefferson, Hemmings was granted freedom in 1796, but passed away in Baltimore just 5 years later. So he freed him, right? Which president invented macaroni and cheese? None of them. Who first created macaroni and cheese come from the French. What food did James Hemings invent? That's the black macaroni and cheese. Okay, let me see. Where am I gonna go? Anyway. So when you come across the word Gentile, it's talking, and as far as blessings are concerned, the Gentiles that will receive blessings through thy seed, Abraham, all the families of earth will be blessed, are referring to Israelites. Anyway, I went long. I didn't go into the New Testament. But the future of the other nations are pursuant to the scriptures, the Old Testament, which are prophetic scriptures. Your future is slavery. So you do have a future, but it's going to be slavery. And we're going to take you for all you got. Anything you got that's valuable, we're taking it, including you. So with that, I didn't go in the New Testament. I may come back, or somebody else could do it too, and go into the New Testament. So I'll be here all day. Shalom. On to the next.